Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Very much appreciated. All right, well, we are back at it after Thanksgiving is over. Now the Knicks face the hottest team in the NBA. The Phoenix Suns are coming into MSG tonight, and they're going to want to extend their win streak to 15. That's right. They've won 14 in a row after starting off 1-3 this season. They've just exploded. They found tremendous balance, and now the question will be, will the Knicks be able to overcome the Phoenix Suns? I mean, this is a good test. It's a good test for the Knicks. I really hope that they can step up and at least, at bare minimum, play their game. That's what I'm looking for. You know, right now, Suns are just smoking hot. So we'll see. We'll see if they can, if the Knicks can steal this game. This would be a beautiful win, a fantastic win. I think there are ways they can do it, and let's look at some of the stats here to show how it's possible for these Knicks to be able to overcome this situation right now. Because there's a lot at stake. That's why I really wanted the Knicks to be able to take over and win in the early part of this month, because these major intense games were coming, like the Suns. Tomorrow they play the Hawks, then they play the Nets, and then they have the Bulls again. So here we go. Welcome, everybody. All right. Thank you. Welcome, Sam. Let's see here. Let's go to, let's check this out. So the Knicks, there's a big disparity in points per game right now. The Suns are averaging 5.1 points per game more than the Knicks. That's a considerable amount. Rebounds, they're averaging about one rebound more. Assists, a lot more. This is the area that I've been begging for the Knicks to improve upon, is their assists per game, and it has been climbing up. In fact, in the previous 10 games, the first 10 games of the season, the Knicks assist percentage was 55.1 for a ranking of 26th in the entire NBA. In the last 8 games, in the 8 games since, they are up to 59.1% for 16th. So they've climbed a good 10 spots in assist percentage. That means that the ball is moving around more. Now, ironically, the offensive rating, which is, pretty fascinating, it was 111.9 in the first 10 games for the Knicks, for 4th best in the entire NBA. In the past 8, it's dropped to 103.9 for 24th. So even though the assists have gone up, the actual scoring has gone down. And that story can be told from the effective field goal percentage. If you look at it, the effective field goal percentage in the first 10 games was 53.4%. The Knicks were the hottest three-point shooting team in the NBA for a good long stretch. Now it's down to 50.4% for 22nd. So they were 8th overall in the first 10 games. In the past 8 games, they're 22nd. So that's what's happened. Their efficiency has dropped. So they have to shoot better buckets, take better attempts, higher percentage attempts, and they're not finishing at the rim as effectively as they were. So that's some of the things that are happening here. But there have been some glimmers of hope recently. The Knicks have a 2-game winning streak of their own right now. That's right. So let's see if the Knicks win streak is the one that gets extended after tonight. That would be nice. This would be a humongous win. Here, let's check in on Sam's comments here. Hey, George, love your channel. You have a relaxing tone and provide a nice, well-rounded fan analysis of the team. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I didn't show it for, the praise. I showed it. I thought Sam actually had a question for me, but I really appreciate that, Sam. Here's his question. Who do you think is the Knicks' biggest X factor in determining their success? Obi, Quickly, RJ, Randall, Kemba? Any one guy stand out? Well, do you mean for tonight, or do you mean long term, or do you mean this season? So those are 3 different things. What the hell? I'll answer it. For tonight, we got to have a big game from Julius Randle. A big all around well balanced game from Julius Randle. Now, if he gives us 20 points, but he gives us 7 assists and like 14 rebounds, that's a great game from Julius Randle. I want that. I'd rather have that version of Julius Randle than like the 25 points and he needs 24 shots to get that, and then he only gives us 4 assists and gets like 8 rebounds. Now, that's not the Julius that we want for tonight. Okay. So this season, well, this is kind of like I'm going back to the previous pregame show where I dove in, and actually this comes from I should really shout out JD, because JD and I have been talking about what's really the most important thing for the Knicks. And in our opinion, the most important thing for the Knicks is RJ. RJ, this team as constructed will either thrive or plateau, because I don't see them going down in terms of production. Either the RJ that we've seen is the RJ we're going to get, then that means this team is going to plateau, and that means that this team has to really rethink its future. It really does. But if RJ is the guy that has shown us those not just flashes or glimpses, he's given us good long stretches of productivity, but then he has those moribund downturns that are just shocking, where he go 2 for 12, like that stuff cannot happen. I mean, once in a while maybe, but when you start stringing maybe 3 out of 4 games like that of really poor productivity, that gets very troublesome. So the ultimate success for this season, I mean, the thing is, Randall's going to do what Randall's going to do. Whether he's going to be the Larry Bird-esque Randall of last season, I don't think we all really realize how tremendous a season he had statistically last season. Also, when you consider, RJ, he leveled up last season over his rookie year, but not necessarily. I mean, he wasn't giving us 20 points per game. So Randall had to really carry the team offensively. He really did. And Obi wasn't the guy he was. IQ gave us some glimpses. Rose was fantastic, but he was coming off the bench. So Randall was, as Thib says, the engine. And I think he'll still be that. But in terms of this team being able to knock on that upper crust door, where like the ceiling, hit that attic door and say, hey, let us up into that top 8 teams, RJ has to really break through. That version of RJ that we saw for those 5-6 games, or those 5 games, it was 5 games. And then for those 4 games, he averaged 26.3 points per game. That RJ, well, I mean, that's amazing. If we get that version, if we get Pelicans version of RJ, forget about it. We're gonna be one of the top 5 teams in this NBA. But let's say it's something in between. Let's say he's the 20-point a game scorer. He gives us 8 rebounds and he gives us 5 assists. But the defense is just, that outstanding level of defense that he wants to give us. Wow, that player. Now that's a player. Then we suddenly have something. He's the key. He's our highest draft pick since Patrick Ewing. He's now entering into, at the end of the season, we're going to have, he's going to end up getting paid. So we're going to have to decide how much, and all that is predicated upon his level of consistency. He has to reach a level of consistency that will help everyone else on the team settle into their roles. So that's my opinion for that. In terms of the long term, Obi, quickly, they're fantastic. I'm so happy for them. Kemba is the guy I'm worried about. I'm worried about Kemba. His productivity is just not there, especially not a consistent basis. He had that 16-point quarter, which was fabulous. So we know he's got it in him still. And that nice third quarter that he had recently, that was nice. But we got to have more than just a random quarter here and there. He's got to play a consistent game. for us all the way through. He can't turn the ball over. He can't have the ball, stolen from him from behind. Things like that just drive me crazy, or step out of bounds. Like things like that. He can't turn the ball over, especially since, he's a liability on the defensive end. So if he's coughing the ball over on the offensive end, it's just a double negative whammy. We can't handle that. So he's a big question mark so far. We're 18 games into the season. We're almost a quarter of the way through. This is the time. You got to start figuring your game out right now. One of the bright spots is Evan Fournier. Evan Fournier has averaged 2.4 made three-pointers per game for the Knicks. He's averaging a 0.1 more than Devin Booker per game made. So he's beginning to give us that consistency. So let's see if that will really carry through from now on. All right, let me read some more chats. Welcome to the chat. Thank you guys for showing up here. Big Task, welcome, brother. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving and got to relax and chill and enjoy some wonderful turkey with family and friends, and watch lots of games on TV and stuff. It was a really nice day. All right, Geraldine, welcome. Thank you. Mike Nihan, my man, love the channel. Are we expecting to have Rose, Mitch? Okay, Rose. Wait. Let me go to that. Sorry, that's what I wanted to show you guys next. Let's see here. All right. Oh, that'll be cool. They added this new thing here. I believe Mitch is playing, but Rose is not. That is. Here we go. No, here we go. Yes. Yeah. Rose is out. Taj is out, but Mitch is in. So that's good. We needed one of our. We couldn't be without both Taj and Mitch for tonight, especially against DeAndre Ayton and McGee and stuff. Like those guys are, they battle. I mean, we're already suffering in terms of rebounding. Our rebounding percentage in the first 8 games, in the first 10 games, was ranked about 12th in the NBA for offensive rebounding. We've dropped to 17th. And our defensive rebounding, we were at 20th with a 72.8% rebounding percentage. Now we're down to 69.8. So we dropped 3. That's 3 percentage points right there for 25th. So we need Mitch's size for tonight, especially for tonight. Let's see here. We go. Yeah, amazing year Randall had. Cameron Goldberg. Welcome, Cameron. Welcome, Peter Rodriguez, Johnny Davis. If we beat them, let's see what he said. We will know what kind of team we got. Oh, well, absolutely. A win will reveal a tremendous amount about this team. However, it's also if we do lose, and I hate always talking about that, especially before a game, but it's the reality of it all. I want to see how it happens. If it's a solid team effort, consistent for 48 minutes, and the Suns just, they just have more weapons and they pull this game out like they've been doing. They've won 14 in a row. So if they do it that way, then, tip the cap and say, okay, let's play tomorrow. Let's see if we can carry that positive momentum into tomorrow night against the Hawks. So, but if we once again give up a big lead, the starters come out and they're lackluster in the first quarter, and we have to depend on the second unit, even though we are without Rose this time, but depend on the second unit to kind of keep us in the game, maybe even get us back into the game. And then they're scrambling in the late third and early fourth quarter to tie, to come back into this game after giving up a big deficit. That will be worrisome. That would be annoying, I gotta say, because I want to see progress. This team had got off to such a tremendous start, and I talked about this before. It kind of like, I hate using the word deluded us, but it did kind of dilute us into believing that they're just one of the 5 best teams in the NBA already, and they're not. They dropped that game to the Magic, and that was the telltale sign. And then since then, we just have not been as effective, but we're starting to get there. One of the main concerns was the defense, right? We're all worried about the defense. Oh, the defense, the defense, the defense. Well, check this out. The offensive rating and defensive ratings for the first 10 games, we were 4th in the NBA in offensive rating and 27th in the NBA in defensive rating. Since then, it's almost flip-flopped. We are now 24th in the NBA in offensive rating. So we went from 4th to 24th in offensive rating, but in defensive rating, we are now 8th in the NBA. So we went from 27th to 8th. So it's completely flip-flopped. So I've been trying to push the new narrative through that we're not the bad defensive team that we were in the beginning of the season. That actually has changed dramatically. And then it's a matter of whether, well, okay, what about the offense? Hey, we got off to such a hot start 3-point wise, and it covers up a lot of issues. So, like if you get beat on fast break points, the points in the paint, all those things, if you're losing those competitive stats each game, night in, night out, but winning the 3-point stat, it's going to cover that up. When the 3-point shooting started cooling off, then the other issues really got magnified. So that's where we're at right now with that. I really, it's interesting. I think I see signs of hope. I do. I like the way that Randall has decided that he's going to carry the team on his back. However, I don't want that to include, too much ISO Randall, like turnover Randall. That kind of stuff can't come along with him trying to carry the team on his back. He's got to find the right balance. He's got to make decisions quicker. That is the key. That is the best part about the second unit is their decision making is bing, 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 bing. The only one who takes a little more time is Burks. But the thing that the positive aspect of Burks is that because he's a 3-level scorer, when he's taking his time, he's trying to find that little crease that he can get to the basket, or he's trying to create some space for a step back 3 for himself. So he's able to create for himself. So sometimes that's why the ball slows down, kind of sticks with him. But in general, the second unit keeps that ball moving, and Quickly and Obi have been such a tremendous tandem, those two. It's exciting. So exciting. We got to say, that's one thing. That's a super huge bright spot for this team. A year ago, they were our first round draft picks. Quickly showed us more in the beginning than Obi did. And a lot of people were worried about Obi. I was worried about Obi a little bit. I wasn't worried about him. I just wanted him to show us something more than he was. But he was a late bloomer. But look at him now. Look at him now, man. And his defensive game has really improved, and so has Quickly's. Now that's a very bright spot for us. And I believe that a similar thing is going to happen with Evan Fournier. I saw some possessions last game for Fournier where he was all over the floor defending. He was in the right spots. He was even coming down into the paint to help and then getting back out to the 3-point line. He was doing everything right defensively for many, many possessions. Sometimes did he get caught, in the wrong spot? Probably, but I saw a lot more bright spots from him. So I think he's starting to come around defensively. Kemba, he took some more charges. He caused some more turnovers. So that's a positive, but he's still a liability defensively. What he's got to do is he's got to give us that 15 points. He's got to give us 15 points on 49% shooting. That's what he's got to do. If he does that, I think we'll be looking good. Ain't no stopping Obi Toppin. That's right, man. That is absolutely right. Absolutely right. Let's see. Let's get to show some more stats here. How are you guys feeling about the game? You guys feeling good? You feel like you guys feel like we're going to take this game tonight? Keep track of the time because sometimes it's an early start tonight. I actually thought when I scheduled this, I thought it was a 7:30 start, but it's a 7 p.m. start. So we won't be going that long on this one here. Well, you can see Suns, they beat Cleveland, San Antonio, but Denver, that was wow. They really destroyed Denver in Phoenix. And they had a back-to-back at home with Dallas. They've had kind of a weird schedule, the Suns. Not that challenging, but still, to string that many wins in a row is a fantastic achievement. I mean, what's the Suns are playing. What's great is the Suns are playing the right way, and it's nice to see teams when they do that and they get rewarded with wins. That's what I want to see the Knicks do. The Knicks, if they play the right way, which is move the ball around, share the ball, get as many. Sometimes I saw some possessions where guys were like all 5 Knicks were getting touches in one possession. And I saw like sometimes 6 different passes in one possession. And that helps. Now, every possession is not going to be like that, but as many as you can have like that, the better, because it keeps everyone engaged. They keep everyone committed. Here's the thing. When that happens, then it removes the question mark in the player's head. They're like, okay, we tried everything we could in that possession. It just didn't work. But when it's like an ISO and it's a bad pass and the shot clock's running out, they're like, it's this frustration level starts building. And then they're not the kind of team right now where they take that frustration out on the defensive end. Now it kind of, but that's starting to come around. That's starting to come around. That's just how it was. That's starting to come around though, because like the beauty of the 90s Knicks was if they weren't making shots, they were going to make sure the other team wasn't making shots. And I love to see that. I want to see this team string 3-4 possessions in a row of denial of scoring of the opposition. If we can do that tonight, if we can throw the Suns out of their rhythm, and we have the guys who can do it, we actually match up very well with these Phoenix Suns. We do. The thing is that, we're missing Derrick Rose tonight, and that's a shame because he would have been a great X factor for tonight. Well, so we don't have him. So now it's going to be Obi. Well, maybe Obi Toppin's time too, but Emmanuel Quickley. We're going to see some nice point guard play from Emmanuel Quickley and Alec Burks. He's going to be called upon as well. Let's hope that they can really come through tonight, man. I want to see some big games. I want to see big games. I would love to see these Knicks just build a lead, hang on to it, and never give it back, and win this game right out. That would be fantastic. Fantastic. What's up? Hey, what's up, Foxy? Welcome. Thanks for joining us here. Mars Van Gogh. I love that name. Even when Evan and RJ scores over 15, top 5 team. Yes. And they can both look. There's no reason why we can't have 3 guys scoring 20 points or up night in, night out. No, will they average that throughout the whole season? Probably not. But we can definitely have several games where we have multiple 20-plus scorers. This team, there's going to be nights when everything starts clicking like the way it did in that first quarter, the previous game, where we're going to end up scoring 125, 135 a game, we're going to have good stretches like that. I totally can see that because these guys are too good. They're, offensively talented. They have tremendous upside. Even Kemba could easily light it up for 25, 30 points on any given night. He still has that in his ability. Let's see here what we got. Hope we can hit that mid. He did a game. Oh yeah. Right now, I want to take a little poll from you guys. Curious right now, which Knick player are you most excited about right now? I want to hear that you guys think. Just drop the names in the chat there. Be awesome, man. Hey, welcome, Parrish. Almord, welcome. Randall needs to face up and play fast. He needs to play fast. He does. However, I actually want him to get closer to the basket. I want him lower down on the block. Right? We've been seeing that he's getting the ball way too far out on the wing. Then he's got to face up, and he's at least 3 or 4 dribbles away from the rim. I want him to be only 1 at the most 2 dribbles away from the rim. I think that because it'll shorten the ISO period, right? Because there's less for him to navigate. He'll make his move, he'll go up, or he'll spray the ball, and that's all we want. That's all we want. Get a good look, either for yourself or your teammates. But when he's out on the wing, it requires more dribbles. It requires more decision making on his part. And that, as we've seen what defenses are doing, they're kind of baiting him into doing that because they know that the percentage of mistakes increase the more time he has with the ball. That was the secret of the Hawks. And they also, they would shadow him but the shadowing was to force him to second guess himself. That's what that was all about. So a decisive Randall that only has to make 1 or 2 decisions per possession is what we want. That's what we want. That's how we'll be successful with him. All right, we got Burks, IQ, Obi Toppin. All right, we're all over. I got another Obi Toppin. Obi's been exciting. He has really been exciting. I was going to pull up all these stats and stuff for him, but I ran out of time. Yeah, he has been unbelievable recently. Well, you guys have seen what teams have put out. What Twitter's put out on the stats, his productivity, his plus minus. I believe is in the top 20 in the league in terms of plus minus per 36. Might even be higher than that. In the last 10 games, Knicks are 5-5. We're averaging only 102.6 points per game, where the Suns are averaging 113.9 points per game. Almost 114 points per game, the Suns in the past 10 games. So we're going to have to hit our 3-point shots. We're going to have to, and we're going to have to finish. No missing bunnies tonight, RJ. That drives me nuts. When you do all that work to get to the cup and you can't fill the cup, that drives me nuts. Gotta make those bunnies, man. Let's see here. Hey, Josh, welcome, man. Suns second in the NBA in field goal percentage and assists. They move the bat. Yep, exactly. They play the way that these Knicks can play. We'll see if they can play it at the level of efficiency that the Suns can do. But similarly, these are not too dissimilar, these teams. They're really not. We should be able to have similar kind of success to them. Maybe not like this. They're playing just crazy basketball. They're trying to go for their 15th win in a row. Nuts. The Knicks have the Knicks opponents have averaged 103.2 points per game in the past 10 games. And the Suns have averaged 101.7 points per game. The opponents have. So we're closer in the defensive area. This game, when you look at all the stats and everything, it just looks like the Suns are going to come in and kind of wipe the floor with us. They're going to come into the Garden and humiliate us. That's what it looks like. But we have a tendency, the Knicks, have a tendency to play up to the competition and play down to the lower competition. So I hope tonight this team just comes out, man, and they start flexing. They start flexing those 3-point muscles and start moving that ball and just play intense defense for 48 minutes. They do that, they can pull this game out, especially with that Garden crowd. And also, I think finally, the team has become the Knicks players have become a lot more accustomed to playing at home. I think it was still kind of a new experience for them. It's very intense. The intensity is huge at the Garden. And also the way that opponents would come in all jacked up, ready to kind of like show up the Knicks in the Garden. I think that players have begun to adjust their mindsets to that. They're ready. They're a little more ready now. So let's hope that they really can. Let's hope they can really pull that off, man. Because a blowout tonight would be horrible. I'm just gonna say it. Let's see here. Cameron Goldberg, welcome. I hope the Knicks are as good as the Suns next year. I really hope. Hey, never know, man. You never know. It didn't take, the Suns weren't that good. They weren't that good until Chris Paul went to that team. They had elements, they had pieces, and then Ayton was, he was young still. I think it was his second season, or I can't remember exactly, but it did take one key player and then a couple other players to make some leaps, and then Devin Booker just made a huge leap. So who knows? Who knows? This anything's possible. I could see this. I could see the Knicks next season being what the Suns were last season. I could see that. Suns bigs are the problem. Yeah. Foxy. Let's see what he says. Foxy. Critical for Fournier to show consistency and build on his last game. Absolutely. Absolutely. He also had that good game against Houston, and then he had that poor game. So let's hope that he can string more good. I have a feeling he will. This guy is he's a bucket. He's a bucket. Parrish Duggar says, unfortunately, Kemba has no legs when he's dribbling. He stumbled on most drives to the basket. He has been stumbling. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely moments where he looks great. He looks like the old Kemba. And then he'll have moments like Parrish is talking about. And then it's really eye-opening. I mean, these are the things in terms of, let's take a step back, and I'm gonna rattle through every player on the Knicks quickly, not Emmanuel quickly, but quickly, and tell you whether I'm worried or not worried about them. Randall, I'm not worried about him. Not worried about him. He's going to figure it out. The season he had last season was just too fantastic. He is that player. The problem is he has new players on his squad and his unit. He's trying to figure out how to be impactful without being, without detracting from the other players on the team, because sometimes he does. So, but I think he's too committed to winning, and he and Thibs have a good rapport. He'll figure it out. Whether he'll give us the season he gave us last season again, that I don't know. But anything in between what he gave us last season and where he's at right now will be an A. RJ, I'm not worried about RJ. I know a lot of people are. I'm not worried about him. I think he is that kind of like almost all-star guy. I think he will be that eventually. Fournier, not worried about him at all. At all. He is the guy. He is the bucket. He is that 18, 19 points a guy, every night guy for sure, who shoots 45% from behind the arc. He is that guy. Mitch have a little bit more of a question mark, but again, when you think about it, he didn't have much time. He really wasn't able to do much running during his his rehabilitation for his foot injury. He really only started playing games until the one game before preseason ended. So I'm not worried about him. I believe that his hops will return, and he's already starting to show us a little bit of glimpses of that, of being a more balanced all-around game that we need from him. I mean, by all around, I mean give us the defensive game that he gives us, the blocks, getting out onto the defending 3-point line, help defense, but still be able to be the lob threat that we've always known him to be. So I'm not worried about him. But Kemba, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to know what Kemba is. Kemba could be, the Kemba that we've seen already. This could be it. This could be the best we'll get the whole season, like what he's averaged. So that is troublesome. Rose, not at all worried about him. In fact, I couldn't be happier with Rose. Quickly is on the ascension. He will become one of the best combo shooting guards in the NBA. That's my feeling. I mean, outside, from jump shooting, long range. Obi, well, you guys already know. I'm on the books for predicting that whether it's on the Knicks or whatever team he ends up going to, if he becomes a starter, he will average 20 points per game. I mean, 20, 20.0. I think he can do it. I think it's in his destiny. Whether he'll be able to do that over 3 or 4 seasons in a row, I don't know. But he definitely has the ability to do it, at least for one season. Then there is Grimes. It's hard to say. Who knows about Grimes? Burks, again, I'm not worried about Burks. He's going to be this guy. He gives us good, solid defense. He'll be a fourth quarter assassin, but then he will have 2 games, 3 games where he just isn't as much of a factor. He'll have that, but then he'll follow that up with 8 or 9 games where he is. So that'll be him. That's why he's not a starter in the NBA, because he's not that consistent. That's what happens. So once you look at it that way, Kemba is the real concern. Kemba's the real concern. See what sorry man, I haven't been looking. I'm trying to we got awesome. We got everyone. Hey, thumbs ups, please. I really appreciate that. Well, hey, Worldwide L, welcome. Good to see you, brother. CL Kendrick, I think CL Kendrick is more positive. He says, I think Kemba still got it. Good. I hope so. He's shown us little moments here and there. That breakout game against Charlotte, that was really nice. That quarter, shall we say. It's still there. Kemba might be where, and you guys know how it is. Like when you know you're not 100%, when your body isn't what it used to be, and then you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how can I still be an outstanding player with the body that I currently have? I think that's what Kemba's learning to figure out. Hence, the way Rose was able to transition from the player he used to be to the player he is now. I mean, he is so efficient right now. I'm loving Derrick Rose's game. Can Kemba do a similar metamorphosis? It's possible. It is possible. So let's see. Kemba's always been a better shooter than Derrick Rose, better outside shooter. So let's see. I mean, that's something your long range shooting usually doesn't leave you that quickly. Just 2 seasons ago, he was an all-star. So let's give Kemba more time. However, that's running out. Again, tonight is game 19. So we need to start seeing some results from Kemba. Duke Gonzaga tonight. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game. Rose needs how rest. Unlock Quint. Yeah. Oh, man. Quentin Grimes. I like seeing him out there. We need to see much more of him. You guys know I've been calling for Thibs to extend his rotation past 10 players, extend his permanent rotation beyond 10 players. Like I said, if Steve Kerr can play every night, he plays around 12 to 13 players every night, and they're other than the Suns, so the best team in the NBA as of now. So if he can find time for his rookies, Thibs, you can find time for ours. And it's absolutely crucial that you do so every single night, whether it's just 4 minutes for Grimes. And I don't even know if Deuce is on. I hope Deuce is on the roster tonight, because that would be nice to see Deuce get some burn, especially against Chris Paul. And maybe he can help slow down Booker. CL Kendrick says, I think Grimes can lock down Chris Paul. Yeah, you know what? Grimes, when I did the deep dive in the draft and everything, he actually, other than Davion Mitchell and Deuce, ironically, Grimes, I had him as third best perimeter defender that was going to be in that draft. And he's showing to be that. He just hasn't got enough time. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when we have these rookies and they don't get burned. But then again, I mean, Thibs did bring IQ along last season, and he loves IQ. I mean, he was giving IQ sometimes 25 minutes a night for good stretches. So let's hope that he can wake up and see that he has to give Grimes and Deuce some burn, and Sims for that matter. Probably we'll see some Sims tonight if there's foul trouble. McBride, why not? Yeah, McBride, man. I love Deuce, man. Love Deuce. So the Knicks in the past 10 games, we're only averaging 42.8 percentage points from the field. That's nasty. Whereby the Suns are averaging 48.1 overall from the field. So there's a huge disparity in the offensive production of both these teams. But the Knicks have the weapons. They have the weapons. So let's see if maybe tonight, you know what it is? It's just they can't get into those droughts, those funks. That's the killer. You know, when they go fight, like at the end, the last game, they did not score a field goal for the last 5 minutes of that game. The only point they got was one free throw. But because they had built that nice lead up, and to coincide with that, they only allowed 5 points total in the last 5 minutes. So I just showed you how a good defense can really make the difference. Definitely make the difference. All right, how are we doing over here? Jason M says, there's no place to hide Kemba on defense in this matchup. Gonna need to see a lot of IQ minutes. Oh, I'd love that. You know, I got a feeling we're gonna see IQ is gonna have a huge game. Yeah. Remember that game? What's that game? Was that game against Portland where he exploded last season? Was it Portland? Yeah, I have this could happen tonight. That'd be sweet. I want to be smiling tonight when I do the post game. I want us to just I want total craziness out in front of MSG, celebrating a victory. Fingers crossed that these guys come out and give it their all. Hope so, man. Hope the turkey didn't eat too much turkey. Let's hope that. Almore Westchester Knicks got this Luka kid looking pretty good. Yeah. Samanchik. I think that's how you say his name, or I'm butchering it. Yeah, he does look good. And he looks like that stretch five. That stretch five that would be nice to have up here. So maybe, who knows? That's one thing. We got some things are coming up. December 15th is when the free agents that were signed over the summer become available to be traded. So that's really the official beginning of the trade season. And then it goes to February. That's where the trade deadline is. So for about 2 months, it's going to be trade talk. And then at that point, we're probably going to start hearing about, who's the new disgruntled superstar who's looking to be moved. Unfortunately, Dame has taken himself out of that conversation. However, you never know. Things can always change. Davion Mitchell, who knows, though? The Utah Jazz are playing really well, so I doubt that that's going to be the issue there. I think, let me see here. Utah, they're 12-6. Interesting. I thought they were doing a little better than that. The Washington Wizards, 11-7. That's crazy. The Golden State, as hot as the Suns are, Golden State Warriors still have more wins than them. Tremendous, man. See, Golden State Warriors, how do they play? They move the ball around. They move the ball. And they play actually really good defense. A surprise team defensively has been the Brooklyn Nets this season. I'm not on record saying that they're not going to win without Kyrie, because their defense wouldn't be at the level that they needed it to be to overcome. Because their offense, they have an excellent offense, but it's not like if you're giving up points, what good is that? So the fact that they're playing some solid defense, that's promising for the Nets and annoying for me as a Knicks fan. But you got to hand it to them. Got to give it to them, man. They're playing some solid defense. The Charlotte Hornets are 4th in the NBA with a 12-8 record. Wow. No, 12 wins. 12 wins. Oh, Miami. They're tied with Miami and Utah with 12 wins. The middle is thick, and that's where the Knicks find themselves. Very thick. Let's see here. There are, right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams, 6 teams, 7 teams with 10 wins. 7 teams with 10 wins. That's crazy. Wow. Almost 25% of the NBA has at least 10 wins. And then right below that, there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams with 9 wins. There aren't any easy teams right now. It's kind of like the OKC at 6-12. It was Sacramento Kings 7-12. That's where it kind of begins. Those become the easier teams. The Sacramento Kings, the Thunder, the Spurs right now, Pistons, the Magic. They're 4-15. It's so annoying that 2 of those wins were at the Garden. The Pelicans 4-16 and Rockets are 2-16. So you can see every night is going to be a battle. Every night. That's why the Phoenix Suns streak is pretty impressive. 14 games in a row. Wow. Outstanding. Mitch is playing. Yes. Sonny Stocks. Yes, he is playing. Mitch is playing. Rose is not. But it creates an opportunity for IQ to get more minutes at the point. And he's earned it. He really has. I'll tell you, his defense has taken a tremendous leap so far this season. His point of attack, he picks up the defender very early. He never lets them relax. That's the kind of intensity that you need at that position. And that's one of the reasons that they drafted Deuce McBride, because that's what Deuce gives you. So that second unit, it's one of the best in the NBA. One of the best in the NBA by far. Rose needs rest. Unlock Grimes. That's right, man. That's right. All right. Well, let's see here. We got Foxy giving us the schedule for tonight. Knicks Suns at 7. Duke Gonzaga at 10:30. Great night. It is. That's going to be. These are going to be both great games. I'm expecting an excellent game tonight with the Knicks and Suns. This is what I'm predicting. The Knicks are going to win this game, and it's going to be a battle the entire game. Maybe one team maybe gets like builds an 8-point lead or whatever, but then it quickly goes down. But basically they're going to be within like 4 or 5 points of each other throughout the whole game. And let's just hope that the Knicks, remember, the Knicks have great shooters. And in my opinion, all around, Knicks probably have better shooters all around than the Suns. I'm talking about both units, first and second unit, especially if Kemba is hitting his 3. If Kemba's hitting the 3s the way he can hit the 3s, and Fournier can give us another game like he did the other night, and Julius is connecting, and RJ, he gave us a nice 3 of 5 3-pointers from the other night. He does that as well. And then Obi's hitting his 3s, and IQ's hitting his 3s, and Burks. We can win this game. Fingers crossed, man. All right, guys. This has been great. I appreciate you guys joining in and the support they're giving here. This is fabulous. Once again, just drop your comments. Any questions you guys have, just drop them in the comments. I read them all. And sometimes I incorporate them and actually build whole shows around them or whole sections of shows. And tonight I will be doing a post game after the game tonight. And let's hope it's a win. I want the Knicks to be 11-8 after 7:30 tonight. and the Suns to have suffered their first loss in 14 games. Come on, we can do this. Hey, they have to lose sometime. Why not at MSG? At MSG. All right, guys, thanks so much. I will be dropping, like I said, the post game, and we're going to be doing a pregame over the weekend, and maybe Foxy will be joining us tomorrow. I actually haven't asked him yet, so we'll see. Just now I did. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching this. Appreciate it, and I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.